You hear the term cloud computing thrown around all the time, right? That powers your email, your favorite shows, your photos, pretty much everything. But what is it really? Let's pull back the curtain and actually explain what the cloud is all about. So, let's start with the most basic question of all. What is the cloud? When you save a file to the cloud, where is it actually going? Is it just kind of floating around up there in the sky somewhere? Well, spoiler alert, no. The simplest and honestly the best way to think about it is this. The cloud is just someone else's computer. Or to be a little more precise, it's a huge network of super powerful computers, called servers, sitting in giant warehouses called data centers all over the world, and we can access them anytime we want right over the internet. And that one simple idea, using someone else's computer, represents a massive fundamental shift in how we do things. We've moved from a world where you had to own all your computing stuff to a world where you just rent what you need, exactly when you need it. To really get what that means, let's, take a quick trip back in time. Imagine it's the late 90s and you want to set up an email service for your small office, not just get an account, but run the whole shebang yourself. Just look at the difference here. On the left, that's the old way. You had to go out and buy a physical server, a big expensive piece of hardware, then buy and install all the software, and you were responsible for everything. If it crashed at 3 a.m., guess who had to fix it? You. Now look at the right, the cloud way, with something like Gmail. You don't buy anything. They own the hardware, they do the maintenance, they handle the crashes. You just use the service. It's a total game changer. So as you can imagine, this huge shift from owning to renting comes with some incredibly powerful benefits. There's a reason why pretty much every modern company, and most of us personally, rely on the cloud every single day. It really boils down to three main advantages. First up, cost. It's just way cheaper. You don't have these huge upfront expenses for machines that will be outdated in a few years. Second, reliability. These cloud companies have armies of experts in multiple backup data centers to make sure everything stays online and your data is safe. But the third one, scalability? Now this is the real magic of the cloud. It's the ability to get more or less computing power instantly, on demand. It gives you incredible flexibility. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you're a small startup launching a new app. You can start small, right? Just rent a couple of servers to get going. But what happens if your app goes viral overnight? Well, with the cloud, you can instantly rent hundreds or even thousands more computers to handle all that new traffic. Then, when things quiet down, you can scale right back down and stop paying for what you're not using. You only pay for what you use when you use it. Okay. So, it's important to know that cloud computing isn't just one single thing. It's really more like a menu of different services, and each one gives you a different level of control versus convenience. Let's break down the three main models you'll hear about. Let's start with the one most of us use every day, SaaS, or Software as a Service. Think Google Docs or Office 365. The cloud provider manages literally everything, the hardware, the software, all of it. You just log in and use it. It's like checking into a full-service hotel. Everything is taken care of for you. A step up from that is PaaS, or Platform as a Service. Here, the provider handles the servers and the operating system, but you bring your own applications and data. This is kind of like renting a fully equipped workshop. All the heavy machinery is there. You just show up with your blueprints and start building. And finally, you have IaaS, or Infrastructure as a Service. This gives you the most control. The provider just gives you the raw computing infrastructure, servers, storage, and you're responsible for managing everything on top of it. Think of it like renting an empty warehouse. You've got the space, but you have to bring in all your own tools and shelves. So who are the giants running these massive data centers, and who's using all this power? Let's take a look at how this all plays out in the real world. Now there are a few huge players you'd expect, like Microsoft with Azure and Google Cloud, but the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world is Amazon Web Services, or AWS. They control about a third of the entire global cloud market. That is a massive, massive footprint. So who's using all that AWS power? Well, you might be surprised to learn that one of their absolute biggest customers is a company we all know and love, Netflix. Yep, that's right. Every single time you fire up Netflix to binge watch a show, you are tapping directly into Amazon's cloud. Netflix runs pretty much its entire global operation on AWS. They use it to store all those movies and TV shows, to run their databases, and to do the complex work of converting video files to play on thousands of different devices. By doing this, Netflix gets to focus on what it does best, making and delivering great content, instead of spending billions building and maintaining their own data centers all over the planet. But of course, it's not a perfect system. Handing over all your critical data and operations to another company comes with some real risks. You have to worry about security. Is your data really safe on their computers? And when a major provider has an outage, it can take down thousands of businesses all at once. Plus, if you're not careful, that pay-as-you-go model can lead to some very surprising and very large bills at the end of the month. And all of this brings us to a really fundamental question we have to grapple with as we move more and more of our digital lives onto these rented computers. When all your photos, your emails, your documents, when they all live on someone else's server, who really owns and controls that data? That's definitely something to think about.